Hello, I'm Spirit Medium Laura, your host of this radio show. I've been channeling Spirit for over 30 years and recently was chosen for the 2014 book 100 Top Psychics in America. Here's how to LOVE love your readings on this radio show. L is for let Spirit lead. O is for only one question or connection per caller. V is for validate all advice with a licensed professional. And E is for enjoy the show. Stay tuned for additional announcements.
Hi, everybody. This is Spirit Medium Laura. Welcome to the show. Today, I sound like Ed Sullivan. Probably most of you are not old enough to know who he is. But during the 60s, Ed Sullivan had the Beatles when they came to the United States in 1963 on his black and white TV show on Sunday night. And it was all the rage back then. Anyway, here I am, Spirit Medium Laura, sort of in the flesh, because this is a virtual presence of me, as we all are virtual. When you think about it, really. We may think we're in one location, but guess what? You all are virtual. You all have an energetic footprint which can be accessed from any place in the universe if a medium or psychic knows how to do that. What an interesting concept. If I get cut off during the show, it's just because in Southeast Florida we're having a lot of electrical activity here lately because of hurricane season. Right now it's absolutely gorgeous out. We're having an unusual day of sunshine, but lately it's been really drippy and really electric. And if that happens, I will be back on either through a phone or by reconnecting through Skype, which is my preferred method to connect. Today's Wednesday, and because it's Wednesday, I only do mediumship. I only do mediumship this show, which means I connect with loved ones who have transitioned. And if you've made a donation and you're expecting something else, hang in there. We'll get to you, don't worry, or we can redo you on Monday night. And if you're sitting in the queue waiting for life reading, it's not going to be done for you today. So if you've made a donation, hang in there. If you haven't, and you just want to be read, it would have to be mediumship today. And by the way, come to think of it, didn't think of this, but mediumship is not for people who want to be entertained. Okay? It's not just a parlor game. So if anybody's here just waiting to be entertained, again, you might want to just stick around and listen to the show, but don't please ask me to bring in a loved one just for the fun of it, because this is about healing. This is about love. And when you work it that way, you get the results that are required for this field to have credibility, which is what I'm all about. Okay, I'm here not to make a joke of this, but to offer you healing through connections. Okay, you never know what's going to come out of my mouth, everybody. You might all be thinking, what the heck's up with Laura today? Why is she talking about this? I don't know. All I know is that's what Spirit told me to say. By the way, if you want to get in the queue to receive a reading, just dial 347 area code 945-5849. That's 347-945-5849. And if you want to jump to the top of the reading queue, I do get to people who just call the show, which is spiritmediumtv.com. And item 1B on that page allows you to make a donation. I will see that because I check. And we already have a couple of donations, and that donation goes in part to the Humane Foundation to help animals. So you're helping a good cause. Please don't just make your donations, or don't call into the show every show just because it's fun. I'm trying to help people here, and another thing is, if I read for the same person over and over again, it tends to not work. So let's just try to have people that really need the readings again in the queue. Be very nice. And the people who have made donations have not for a long while, so I appreciate those donations. Tammy and Michael, I see so far. Thank you very much. And I also thank anybody that wants to join the mailing list. Susie B., my lovely friend Susie B., is in the background opening up the lines, getting your emails if you'd like to join our mailing list. This way you'll keep apprised of the show and other things I'm up to. other things that are happening in the world of spirit. Like, for example, one of the things I have in my current newsletter is an article about a session I did with a client going into past life contracts and helping him understand his purpose, where he came from, where he's going spiritually. It's a psychological, spiritual kind of mediumship session. Interesting to note, mediumship can be sometimes expanded to those kinds of applications, not just connecting with your loved ones. So if you want to watch the show live, go to spiritmediumtv.com. Item number 2 is a video feed of me right now doing the show. It's not very fascinating to see it, but sometimes people do enjoy to see the person behind the voice, so you can do that there. And these shows all go up to YouTube, and then I also post them to Google Plus, because I have found that that gets good visibility for the show. Anything else I need to say? Yeah, if you want to come into my class Monday nights after the radio show, which I do at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I do an online class, and people from all over the place in that class, all over the country, and they can be from all over the world if they'd like to be. But right now, I just have people from in the U.S., and we are working on mediumship this month. But every class I have is geared towards the soul and mediumship. Different aspects of mediumship, or just different aspects of opening up your clear senses, like clear seeing, clear feeling, clear hearing. And if you'd like to learn more about the training and perhaps join the Monday night development class, go to Spirit Medium TV. Item 3 on that page will allow you to link through to the registration page. And incidentally, I also have self-paced video training. I mean, I've got it all going on. And it's from my experience. You know, you can learn something different from every medium, every psychic, because we all experience it. And I'm sure each of you has experienced it in your own way. There's similarities and there's distinct differences. For example, how did mediumship come to be? I like to listen to mediums and listen to how they opened up, why they opened up. And each story is unique, but each story is very connected. And one of the commonalities I've noticed in how a medium becomes a medium is they usually have a loss, usually. Okay. Now, with me, I did see spirit as a child, and was frightening, even though my guide was there, and I didn't know who he was either. It just seemed to be more benign than the other strange people that would appear to me as I tried to fall asleep at night, or if I woke up and then would go back. As I moved through the stages of slowing the brain down to dream state, they would come in, and it was scary. Anyway, it all got cut off, and I was living a quote-unquote normal life. Never was quite normal for me. I'll tell you why another time. But when my mother transitioned, my father transitioned before her, but when my mother transitioned, I really, 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 really wanted to know what this was all about, especially since I'd been channeling spirit guides for years. And channeled guides that other mediums are bringing in for people. So I, was a seasoned channeler, although not professional. And then at that point, that was in about 2004, I says, geez, can I do mediumship, which is connecting to loved ones who've transitioned? And I found out I could. But there is a development process. There is a re-ramping needed. Some people just have it, and they don't really need to study, I suppose. But I do believe we all develop at our own pace. So again, if you want to join the class on Monday nights, it's online. You can take it from anywhere you are. Okay, so for today's inspiration, we'll be doing the connections in a moment, so don't get impatient. What's about to come up for you right now is something to help you in your own life or inspire you. And one of my students, Fatima Isa, beautiful, lovely soul. I haven't seen her physically, but I've touched her energy as I've had a session with her, and she's in the class. She's written a book. And during my session with her on the radio show, all these things come out of my mouth, and I don't even know what I'm saying. It was a Monday night show. I'm talking about her life, and I get in the message that she's created some sort of a system for people to help them with relationships and love. And then I found out what it was later on. It was confirmed that the system is a book of acronyms. And each acronym has embedded in it an inspirational message so that you can experience more love in your life, okay, or have more love for yourself, more self-confidence, and make you feel like a diva. And she calls the book Diva, D-I-V-A, and that stands for divine. I don't have the exact what it stands for, and I think I put that away, so I'll have to give you that another time, because I will be using some of her acronyms for some of the radio shows. I don't like to do the same thing all the time. But in any event, I saw the number 44 as I was meditating today, and I said, oh, that's the page I have to go to. And so on page 44 of Fatima Issa's book called Diva, by the way, you can get that on Amazon.com. Just go there and put in her name, Fatima, Fatima, Issa, Issa, and put in the name Diva, D-I-V-A, and you should find her book. And the acronym that is on page 44 is the following. God, and God, G-O-D, stands for Good Outcome Daily. Good outcome daily. So your message today is to incorporate God in all you do. That's just her phrase underneath the acronym. Incorporate good outcome daily in all you do. And so one might say, well, how do I do that? And interestingly enough, in my book called Intuition for Success with the Law of Attraction, which is also published now on Amazon.com. If you put in Intuition for Success with the Law of Attraction and my name, Laura Mendelson, you will find my book, which you can purchase there, Kindle, as well as hard copy version of it. And I use the same acronym, come to think of it. But mine is at the end of the word. I use the acronym LOVE for process, of how you can be successful in your life. L-O-V-E. But the E stands for ecstasy in your life. Ecstasy. E is for ecstasy by embracing your God, G-O-D, flow. And so if we incorporate God in all you do from Fatima Issa's book, we would then be incorporating in our life on a daily basis guidance, that's intuition, opportunities, usually they come from guidance, so that your destiny, the D of the word God, unfolds. So your life can be more ecstatic if you embrace your God flow. Okay, embrace your God flow in all you do. Guidance, opportunities, and destiny will give you good outcome daily. Interesting little way of me twisting and turning to bring everything together. Thanks for listening. Okay, so I'm going to go now to the lines. Let's see what we got here as far as donations. We've got 3 done. First thing, before I do that, I want to introduce Susie. If she's not, I'll get her then in a moment because she's on a line with somebody. I always love to have her come in. And I'm going to go then to Tammy, who is at 954. There she is. Hello, Tammy. How are you, darling?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm great, honey. Thank you so much, sweetheart, for making your donation, which goes to help animals. Which
oh, it was a pleasure.
Yeah. So what can I? Well, I guess we're doing other side connections today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I do feel a male presence to you. I'm not sure who you want to speak with. May I develop that a little bit for you, or did you have somebody else in mind?
Please.
Okay, male for you.
Well, actually, it was my mother, but
okay,
we'll see who comes to you.
Okay, thank you. Well, this would be more of a father figure, and sometimes a father figure, mother figure do come through together. Unless it's her father, it could be a grandfather figure as well. Let's see here, Tammy. Okay, so I see a man with dark hair, original color. I'm just feeling like I need to just give you a broad stroke of that and then move over to the mother figure. I don't want to spend a lot of time. He's laughing. He's got a good-natured personality. He's got a longer face. Okay, not terribly long. It's an oval to longer face, strong nose, high cheekbones, good-looking man. Okay, he shows himself at a time in his life where he's still got most of his hair. I don't know if he ever lost it. He's just showing me is his hair, and the original color is dark brown to brown, and it's not real curly or kinky, nor is it completely straight. It's a little bit of a wave to it, if you will. There's lines on the top of the forehead, across the forehead that go horizontally, so he's got a furrowed brow, if you will. He's got a strong character, strong personality, he says. I don't see it. And there's a slenderness to his body right now. So for one thing I want to say is he shows me his head, his face, very developed. I can see that very clearly. And then when I go down his neck to his shoulder area, I see emaciation, as if he's lost weight during his time on Earth, or that he had to struggle with health issues. Oh, you're doing pretty good, sir, whoever you are. You're moving from giving me yourself.
That's my brother.
Okay. First he's giving me himself before he got ill, and now he's showing me now he got ill and emaciated. There's health issues. Okay, I forgot what he said because he's half channeling through me and I don't remember. Health issues for most of his life. Okay, so he says, mommy missed me for a while, but now she doesn't as much. So that indicates that he transitioned before her. Do you understand, please? Okay, so yeah. He transitioned first. Okay, he's going to step aside, bring in Mom. She's here. Okay, okay. I think I have a grandma here, actually. We'll see who this is. The hair... Okay, how do I describe what I see? It's always a challenge. What I see is a flapper hair. I see a flapper hairstyle right now. That's why I say grandma. Okay, but the hair is gray. It's okay. I'll give you what I get rather than say it's flapper. It's close to the head. It has a wave to it. It's got gray in it, gray or salt and pepper. So this person looks like she lived to an advanced age. I'm not seeing her at the very advanced, but I do see that there's age in her face of the vision she's giving me. Again, they can show at any time in their life. For some reason or other, she cares to show me in sort of adornment, so that's why this might be grandma. Okay, like as if she was. This is so strange, Tammy, so please bear with me, but maybe it makes sense to you. But I'm seeing somebody that reminds me of something from The Great Gatsby. I see a person with the hair closer to the head with waves very closely. You know, the hair is close to the head with waves. It could be shorter. I can't see how long it is. Okay, and I see like a band, like a glamorous kind of band around the head that they used to like to wear for adornment. And I see lipstick. I see a fur, like a shawl kind of fur. It's white, but it's a shawl, and she's dressed well. Okay, she's like the grande dame or somebody. She liked to dance also. This might be grandma. Okay, do you understand this for anyone you know, please?
Not really.
Okay. Well, I don't know how to interpret it, but I do need to give it to you, so we'll just leave it there for a moment. And then I also saw very briefly, right before she popped in, a woman that's a little more heavy set, carrying more weight on her. And this is more of a mom type. I see brown hair, medium color brown. This is before, they can show it at any time in their life. So what I see is the brown hair right now. And I see that she's carrying extra weight on her. Do you understand, Mom, for carrying extra weight and having a mid-tone brown hair color, please?
Yeah.
Okay. And it looks like the vision she gives me now, that she might have had it longer at some point, because the vision is like it's softly pulled back off her neck, but it looks like there's more length in the back. I can't see it. I can just get this sense of this body to the hair. The beautiful hair color, by the way, its original tone, which is like a chestnut richness to it. It's got a lot of golden highlights in it. Very lovely, very beautiful. There's a sense of her having there's a diva-ness to her. Okay, a presence of being a goddess, if you will. And you're laughing, and I think that's what she's trying to show me with the other picture I gave you. She actually literally shows me on her head a crown. Okay, to show that she's a magnificent human being and a diva of sorts. And she says she always loved you and everyone the same. She says she never favored anyone, but she also loved herself tremendously. She says to take care of yourself the way she took care of herself and the family, and the way she would love to continue to take care of you. And she's moving into something with this caretaking, the way that you took care of her as well. She said she felt like a princess, the way you took care of her. Okay? All right. I'm sorry if you're crying. I'm sorry for your loss.
The night before she died, she called me her princess.
Oh, perfect. 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 But also that I believe she's talking about how you treated her like a princess also. Okay. Okay, because you did treat her like a princess. She says also. She says, I taught you how to be a princess, and and you treat people around you well also. She says she loves what you've done with your hair. So you've changed it in some way. It looks a little bit shorter to me. Okay, this is what she's showing me all of a sudden out of the blue. I guess she's into hair because she showed me her hair before. She shows me your hair. It's beautiful. She says, you're beautiful. She says, you're beautiful, my dear. You're beautiful. She says, I love you all so much. Come into my arms. Let me give you a hug. And she gives you a big mama hug. There's something about the flesh, the weight, that's significant. I don't know. She literally was this overweight, but she keeps aggrandizing her form to show me something with her health that has to do with her body. And I'm going to see if
she was very thin and then gained a lot of weight before she passed.
Yeah, it has something to do with her health. That's why she's showing me it. Okay, something to do with her health. It's the way her weight gain came on, and I don't know what yet. She'll probably tell me in a moment. I have to let her do that. Hold on. Okay, there's also an S name in the family, like I'm sorry, because I already have a Susie that's in the background, but there's a Susie name coming in as if it's significant in some way in your family, or Suzanne. So I'll give that to you. Do you understand that name in any way, please?
No.
Okay, just hold on to it. Hold on. Let me see what I can get with her health. Okay. Something with the heart. Okay, something with the heart.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's part of the reason there's weight gain and water retention. A lot of water retention with that. Bad pulse, and there's also arthritis, arthritic pain. There's a lot of things that go along with this. Irregular heartbeat, bad pulse, holding water in the body, congestion. I guess you must have congestive heart failure. That usually you hold water with that. Yeah, usually you hold a lot of fluid with that. And she's trying to show me that she loves you, loves you, loves you, and all the kindness that you gave to her. And she says, we're both princesses, eh? We're both princesses. And so with that, she says, I'm here taking care of your brother. And she says, all the other family members that have transitioned, she says, carry on for us on Earth. I do feel there's a couple of children under you or in the family. They don't have to be necessarily your own, but I do feel that there's grandchildren around. You understand grandchildren in the family for mom?
Yeah.
Okay. She says, carry on for all of us. There's a boy. I believe you have a son, correct?
I do.
Yeah. You have two of them, actually, don't you?
I have a daughter and a son.
Okay, two children then, yeah, because she gave me the feeling of two. Okay, so she's giving you a lot of great evidence. She's also showing me the color green, and I'm going to let you go in a moment. I just want to finish up. Green has to do with healing. Okay, your healing. Okay, you're healing from a loss. Not only her loss, but other losses. And there's a family member that's also transitioned behind her, after her, that's also another loss. I don't know why she's saying this, because you're asking for her, but there's somebody else that's transitioned. Does that make any sense to you, please?
No.
Okay. Well, then you've lost someone, and maybe that person's not transitioned to spirit, but just left your life. Do you understand, please?
Not since her.
Okay, doesn't matter since her, but she's still healing from that loss.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that might be a breakup or something for you that you've lost that's of significance, tremendous significance. She says, carry on, my dear. You'll do fine. You're doing very, very well as it is.
Thank you.
You're welcome, honey. God bless, and thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for your donation, Tammy. Have a blessed day.
You too. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, honey. Bye-bye. Okay, I know Michael's made a donation. I'm coming to Michael right now. Okay. Hey, Michael, how's it going?
Well, ups and downs, valleys and peaks. Ups and downs, valleys and peaks.
Aww. You're an interesting person because, whenever I hear from you, you're in a valley, But then I hear what's going on, and it doesn't seem that bad. So I just want to remind you to to do the God thing, what we were talking about earlier: guidance, opportunities, and destinies. Always be positive, because you are always led.
Right.
You are always led, my love. Now, today is mediumship, as you know. Okay, you do know that, right?
Well, I didn't know it until you said so. So I mean, I need some assistance. So I'm open to whatever Spirit brings me.
Okay. All right. Well, let's try, let's connect to spirit for a moment or two, see what we get there, and then we'll go into a personal message for you, which is what I do anyway. Let's see what we get from Michael. Well, your relatives are sort of quiet. Now, I think I've said this to you before, but I keep feeling rather than a mother or father, although you probably have father figures and mother figures around, they're just not stepping forward. But I also feel a female that feels like an aunt, or maybe it's a grandma, but somebody that's was around you when you were growing up and was helpful to you. Do you recall me saying that to you before?
I mean, that would make sense to me. I don't recall it specifically, but I had a dear, dear friend. I call her my first friend.
Okay. All right. Because I feel this woman around you rather step in than the other ones, okay, right now. And she actually looks a little bit rounded in her figure as if she's carrying extra weight. She's kind of like a mother type, a mother homely type, kind of sweet, loving energy. Someone you could call or sit down, have a cup of coffee, maybe a piece of apple pie, and just chat. But I also feel that she was significant to you in many ways, sort of like around the family, or around, I don't know, I get even earlier years, when you're a child, like as if she's your, right? Okay, godmother, like almost like a godmother watching out for you. Okay? Looking
Right.
at, looking.
I met her when I was 8.
Oh, okay. And you want to know something? Or maybe you already know this, but this woman was there to watch out for you. She was there to buoy your spirits when no one else would. Okay? And so she's here today to buoy your spirits when it seems like you're down. Okay, that's why she wants to pop in. So I'm going to try to see if I can go to your personal message. It may come from her. It may come from somewhere else. I don't really know. But I want you to give me your question, please.
I am ready for a fun, stable job.
Okay. So you want to, where's the job is the question. She says, don't give up. There's a T name coming in, like a Tom or something like that. I have no idea who that is or why she gives me that name, but I'll just present that to you. She says, don't give up. You're going to figure it out. She says, just keep on with what you're doing. And she says, try to make fun of everything. Not make fun of it, but, find fun in it. She says, because that's your best route to finding a position, a job that you really like. And she also says to me, isn't there something about a job you don't like? For example, it's kind of restraining to you, or restrictive in many ways. So she's like believe it or not, this woman is more of an advanced soul, okay, like a guide to you now. Okay.
Okay.
Right, and she was on Earth to be around you because she's like a guide to you. She's an advanced soul, a very patient kind of person. I'm sure you would agree with that when you knew her on Earth. A very sweet, nurturing, patient sort. And you could go to her and you could cry in her arms and she would not be judgmental. You could let her know things, your vulnerabilities, and she'd be there for you. You couldn't do that with other people around you, but you could do it with her. So she comes in now from Spirit to offer you advice as if she is a guide, because I'm getting more high-level information than, the way she presented on Earth. Hold on. There are people on Earth who can help you now. You just need to look around a little bit and stop despairing all the time. Stop despairing. Of course there are jobs for you that you're going to like. There are many jobs that you need to look at that you would like. But she says you need to get out of your head that jobs are restrictive and restraining because you're counterproductive that way. In other words, you look for a job, but at the same time, subconsciously, you're saying, do I really want a job? What I really want is fill in the blank, right? Right?
Right.
Okay. So now I'm going to switch from her. I'll call her Grandma for lack of a better term. I'm going to switch from her off to.
Her name's Louise.
What is it?
Louise.
Louise. Okay, I'm going to switch.
Her name's Louise.
Louise. I just heard you. Yes. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm going to switch from lovely Louise to your guides, and I'm going to finish the message. She doesn't mind.
Thank you.
Okay. You will find what you want when you get very squared off and clear on what it is. Don't be afraid to ask for what you want. So what you're doing is you're getting in your own way by asking for things you don't really want. So what we suggest to you every day is to sort of journal a little bit on what you really want. You can start with what you don't want. But be honest with yourself, because if you're not honest with yourself, you're going to continue to stay in this sort of Bermuda Triangle of not getting anything, right? So what we think right, we're going to just open that lid a little bit on that Bermuda Triangle and say to you that one of the things you really do like is freedom. So you need to ask exactly for what you want, a position that offers steady income of a high level, but also offers you freedom and flexible schedule so that you can move forward with your God-given artistic talents. That's what you truly want. When you start to open to that, instead of saying to yourself, it's not possible, that's when the doors will open. We also suggest that you follow every lead you get, even if it seems silly. Just go ahead and do that. And have faith, my dear son. Have faith that it is coming to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, honey. And don't ever despair, love. Okay? Don't ever despair. All right?
All right, sweetheart. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. God bless, honey. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay. Okay, we have another donation. That would be Linda. Hold on for a second while I get her information. Thank you, Linda, for your donation. I'm opening your line in a moment. And by the way, if anybody else wants to make a donation, I don't like to take them after a certain time. Hold on. Here she is. Hey, Linda, how you doing, sweetheart?
I'm good, Laura. How are you?
I'm very good, Linda. Somehow your name sounds familiar to me. Did I read for you before on this show or Monday night?
No, it was in person.
Okay. It's all a blur. Yeah. You know, I do feel a female to you in spirit. And I'm just going to give it a broad stroke and see if that's the direction we should move in. Because I have no idea who you want to speak to, and I'm going to try to, I try to do that also on the show. So what I do see is a female to you. She actually feels more, if she was your mom, she actually feels more like your sister. In other words, there's a pure energy to her. And a slenderness to frame, brown hair, shoulder length, they can show at any time in their life. There's a wasting away of this person as if she had cancer or something like that, some illness. And I sense something in the chest area that was where this resided. Does this make sense to you for anyone you would know, please?
Yes, for my sister.
Yeah, it's your sister. Pretty much sure it is your sister. Is that who you want to speak with, love?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good. Well, she's here. First words out of her mouth are thank you. Thank you for helping her, because you did. You helped her a lot towards when I believe this illness was diagnosed. I believe you went into a lot of research or did a lot of work for her, almost as if her advocate, if you will. There was no one really around her that could do what you could do. You seem to have more abilities in this area than most people. Do you understand, please?
Yes.
Okay, and she says that she'll always be eternally grateful for you for that and what you did. And then she laughs a little bit. She says, but, there was no saving me, right, sis? There was just no saving me. Now, she also does show that there was a time where some of the, there was like maybe a remission or a time where where everybody had hope that all the things that were being done. I believe she used complementary as well as traditional methods. You understand complementary with traditional, please?
I don't know what you mean.
In other words, let's say you found a complementary medical treatment, but she also used traditional medical treatment. In other words, she probably went through chemo and all those other things. I don't know, it depends on the person, but she's showing me that there were alternative medicine things you were combining, or she was combining, maybe at your advice or what have you, to complement. And she says there was a time when I believe she thought she was getting better. Do you understand, please?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, there was juicing involved. She's giving me the juicing. Okay, well, that's only one thing. There's many, many things, but she actually shows me juicing. And she says, I did feel good for a while. She says, although I never really gained the weight back. I see her very, very slender. But I did feel stronger. And that was the time when we all had hope, like the clouds had parted and we could see the blue sky. She said, but to no avail. She says, I slipped through your fingers and everyone's fingers. She says, I'm okay now. There's children left behind by her, under her. Do you understand children for her, please? At least two. I see one as a girl. Do you understand, please?
She didn't have any children. I have one child.
You have one. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, thank you. Is a girl?
Boy.
A boy? Okay. Okay, well, let me just say the records state that I do feel 2 children left behind on Earth. There might be another sibling that has 2 children. One of them is a girl. Is there somebody else that has a girl in the family, please?
A niece, maybe a great niece.
Okay, that could be it, because then that would be the 2. 1 girl and then your son, and that would be the 2. So she says she showed me 2 children, and I assumed it was hers. I didn't know, but 2 children left behind, and one of them is a girl. Okay, so that's that. She's coming in pretty clearly. Let me just see something else. Okay, this seems to have spread through the body. She's really onto the medical portion of this for some reason. I see it starting in the chest area, but I also see it going down to ovaries, uterus, that kind of a thing. Do you understand, please?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
She had bladder cancer, but they're saying it might have started in the adrenal gland. So.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you, because she brings me down in that area. She's very, very specific about the medical part of it for some reason today. But in any event, let's just try to go to more personal message, sister. Okay, love? Oh, she's laughing a little bit.
Me.
She what?
Probably trying to reassure me that, that she had to go, that it was that as bad as,
Oh,
that she
okay.
could not be.
Yeah, that she couldn't be saved. Because there's also another part of this, love, that when they give all that kind of detail, it's a little unusual for your sister to be giving me, the medium, that much medical detail, and I can see your point. But they also need to give a lot of specific evidence so that it's believable. You know what I mean? Like we understand it's that soul. So she's really doing more than most souls will do in the medical area. She says, but I got a clean bill of health now here in spirit. She laughs a little bit. She says I'm able to play and go out and do things with my friends. There's all kinds of things going on here. She says I'm not alone. I don't. She says something here, personal message she wants to give you of significance. Okay, rather than me, because most of the time they pop out with a personal message, she's telling me you want to ask something. So I'm going to let you ask. Go ahead, sweetheart.
I just want to know if she's around me, because I'm trying to feel her presence. And
okay, let's go into that. Yeah, because usually I would give a personal message and she'd say, no, there's something Linda wants to ascertain. I usually don't go into how they communicate when I'm doing the radio show, but it is something I do in private sessions, but that's perfect for now. Let's just say, she says, first of all, she is around you. And that was as soon as you asked the question, she pushed my head up and down. Yes, I am around you, sis. I'm in the house a lot. Now, is there a dog in your house? Is there a dog?
Yes.
Okay. I think that the dog is seeing her. Okay, because she shows me the dog. And she actually shows me herself showing herself to the dog. So you're just not noticing her, so maybe you need to follow the dog a little bit more. Watch what the dog is watching. Okay? Because the dog is seeing her. Okay?
My dog almost died last weekend.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Yeah, so maybe she was there with her.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. And she also shows me that you'll know that the dog is seeing her again when the dog barks. When the dog barks. Okay, barking for no reason, it seems. And the head will be lifted slightly as if just looking up at something and you don't know what it is. And so I see a vision of her, like almost as like an angel coming in with a light over her, wearing this beautiful gown, and looking down at the dog. That might have been when the dog was ill. Does the dog have a little bit of collie in her or him? I see like a little bit of that kind of marking on the dog. What kind of a dog is it?
Yeah, she's a border collie.
Perfect. Yeah, there she is looking up at your sister. Your sister's a lovely person. Someone that an animal,
Sure is.
yeah, someone an animal would naturally love, and she would naturally love an animal. So there is her energy for you, and just follow the dog now. Was the dog choking on something, honey? Was that it?
She had a seizure that we couldn't break.
Okay.
So I kind of, choking actions that happen when they do the seizure.
Yeah, because I feel it in but she's okay now? The dog's still alive?
She's still alive. She's laying right here on the floor with me.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, sweetheart. So just follow the dog. That's going to be your way to know sister's in the house. Okay?
Okay.
All right, because the dog will do some barking and all, and she'll be playing with the dog. She'll be doing things with the dog. Obviously, your sister loves animals, and it's easier for the animal to see her than for you to see her. And it's easier for the animal to sense her presence than for you to sense her presence. Okay? Okay, honey. Okay. God bless, honey. Much love to you. God bless.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, honey. Thanks. Bye-bye, love. Bye. Okay. Are there any other donations before I go to the phone lines? Nopey dopey. I'm going to bring in Susie for a moment. I'd like to always bring her in because she's a blessed soul. Hey, Susie, what's up?
Hello, my dear. How are you?
I'm great, darling. How are you?
I'm doing well, very well. My computer crashed yesterday, but I was able to straighten it out, so I'm good now.
Wonderful, wonderful. Did you hear the last session I just did on the phone with the border collie? That was like phenomenal. It was just absolutely exquisite. The dog showed me, well, the sister showed me, then the dog showed me. It was quite exceptional. When you have a chance, listen to it. Yeah, you'll like it.
That is very wonderful.
Yeah, it is wonderful. You know, it's wonderful when spirit proves itself. I'm not going to bring in anybody from the other side for you because I've done so much of that. I want to give that a rest for a while. Is that okay, sweetheart?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. All right, love. I'm going to go back now to the phone lines and chisel through them. Okay?
Okay, darling.
Thank you, darling. Bye.
Okay, love you.
Love you too. Bye. Yeah, just as a point, everybody, you don't want to overread for people, and you certainly don't want to do mediumship for people every moment. There's got to be a rest period, just for the psychic battery to recharge, and also ethically, we don't want you as consumers of this material to become dependent on it. We want you to learn to live your own life, and if you're in a mourning and grieving period, to not become dependent on mediumship, but rather to use it as a tool to heal. And part of the healing process is stepping away from the mediumship from time to time, not always becoming dependent on it. I'm going to go to Jessica now at 415. Hold on while I open that line. Hey, Jessica.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. It's my first time listening to your show.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you for calling in. It's always nice to get new people here because it's fresh energy. As you might have noticed, I was just talking about overreading for people because for a while there, and I didn't even realize it, Jessica, I was reading for a lot of the same people. Now they're not calling in as much, but for a long time, then all of a sudden it occurred to me, how many times can I bring in the girl's mother or father or, whatever? So anyway, okay. So let me just see who's there for you, darling. Okay, because I don't really feel, I don't feel anyone popping out for you. Jessica. Okay. So I don't feel anyone wanting to speak. Okay, I can develop, I can force it, but I have a feeling there's a reason that I'm not. And I believe the reason is that you've called in to ask something about mediumship versus really having a need for connection. Is that correct, please?
Well, I thought that maybe a guide or something would come through to help me heal. Something like I have this kind of thing going on, which I think has, I don't know, I think it's past life related or I have no idea, that I'll give somebody one of my products that I do, and then I feel like guilty that I'm ripping them off or that it's not good. Like I kind of lose my confidence with it, and then I feel guilty that it's not a good, so I was kind of just hoping that maybe someone came through to help me heal that, because I'm done with that. I don't want to think that way anymore.
Oh, you're so cute. Yeah, because just as for everybody's edification and yours, when I connect with somebody and there's no one from spirit sitting there, I know right away, and so it's almost as if any loved ones you do have in spirit are just stepping aside to allow another message to come in for you. I finally learned that, by the way, the hard way, Jessica, because I used to try to force well, let's see who I can pull in for you. I can't do that for you. All right, so you feel that you have an issue with business and allowing abundance to form in your life. And one of the things I get is that it does relate to father energy and the way you were raised, okay? And I believe that there is a critical eye on you or some kind of message. It may not literally be your father, but father energy can be a myriad of things. But basically, you're afraid of criticism. Okay, you're afraid of criticism.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and but also that your inner critic is extremely overdeveloped, and that also could mean that you didn't have a father around you. Okay, I don't really know. I'm not going to get that psychic on you. I don't want to ruin my connection to the other side by going psychic. There are two different ways psychics work. So what I want to say is you need to heal the aspect of yourself that's critical, the inner critic. Because so they are final. They are giving me the reason. Your guides are giving me the reason. The reason you have a very strong inner critic is because you didn't have a strong parental influence. Do you understand, please?
Well, I had a very critical parent, but not very supportive. So maybe that's what it is.
Okay. And so what you've done is you've developed an inner voice. It's nobody else pointing a finger at you. It's now you pointing your finger at yourself. Okay, now how I could go into hours on this. Let me just see if I can give you a quick answer and then a recommendation. Hold on, sweetheart. So what you need to do, because you are aware of it, you're a very aware person, you need to go for some kind of energy healing. There's emotional freedom technique. That's a way. So you need to go to a healing process that goes beyond the conscious mind to the autonomic and subconscious level. So that would be hypnosis. It could be emotional freedom technique. It could be a myriad of different kinds of energy healers. I do a soul healing session as well, just to add that into the loop where I read your chakras of all the karmic issues, and we clear them energetically together. And so what you need to do is go to a healer. It cannot be done just by having a reading about it. It needs to be an energy sweep. Do you understand, please?
Right, yes, okay.
Okay, so I recommend that you look through your resources, see what you come up with. I do have on my website, spiritmediumlaura.com, I have a resources tab, and on there I have a directory. The directory has people in there that do various things. I also found some emotional freedom technique videos, which are free. So those are some resources that I know of. There might be a hypnotist there as well on the directory. And then I also do the soul healing, which on the first page of my website, the main page, spiritmediumlaura.com, if you look down on that page to benefits/services, soul healing is one of the 6 major things I do. And you can look into that also. And with that, you'll be able to clear this and move forward. And karmically, by the way, they're telling me your debt is due on this and it is ready to be cleared. Okay?
Yeah, that's how it feels. Okay, thank you.
Perfect, sweetheart. And by the way, another message is, I don't know if you have children now, or I believe you might have children under. Do you have a child, like a son?
No, I have a dog.
You have a dog? Okay. Are you wanting to have family? Can you still have children? Because I feel that it's a good example for you to clear this to everyone around you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I've been thinking about it. Yeah.
Okay. So it's time now. You're ready now. It's like losing a skin, that's ready to be shed. So go ahead now, find your resources, love, and you will be healed. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome, love. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, moving on to Shannon at area code 814. Hi, hi, Shannon. How are you, sweetie?
I am good. How are you today?
I'm great. Now, 814 sounds very familiar to me, and Shannon sounds very familiar to me, but I'm in an altered state right now, so have I read for you recently? That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm feeling really strong to ask if my father or grandmother has a message for me.
Well, I feel your father. I did feel a male energy to you a moment ago. More father than mother. So let me just go to that for the moment, Shannon. Okay, so he's showing me himself at various times in his life. I have to go through a process of identification before I can give you your personal message. In other words, I have to validate that it's him first. You understand, please?
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, I do.
All right. So I see him at two different times. One's more like middle-aged, and then now he looks like he's pushed to an older age. So what I need to say is, father lived to an older age, advanced age. And he's got a rounder head in the advanced picture he's giving me himself, like almost as a roundness to his head and to his face, the way it shows to me. And also, it looks like he must have lived. It looks like there's loss of hair. The hair is primarily white. Whatever's left is on the wispier side, and is like you can see some of his scalp. So there's a thinning out of the hair. Do you understand, Father, for having thinner hair and also moving to advanced age, please?
He was under 60 when he passed. I hadn't spoke to him in like 14 years.
Okay.
So what he looked like, I couldn't tell you.
Oh, okay. Well, let the record state then, and maybe this is something that can be confirmed later, but I see a man who, even if he's in his 60s, doesn't look like he's weathered very well. I'll put it to you that way. And there's there's a sense of weakness in the body and the physique. There's also a sense that he might have liked to imbibe in alcohol. Do you understand that for Dad, please?
That would be my dad, yeah.
And that's why he shows me himself so disheveled and worn out and tired. Okay, and that's yeah. And he also is alone. He says he's alone, and he says no one would want to bother with me anymore. And he laughs a little bit about that. He says, but yeah, he says I do have wisdom. He says I know you never gave up on me, Shannon, in your own way. You know, in other words, there's a good man inside of this man. There's a good man inside of this man, not just an evil man, and not just a bad man, and not just a weak man, but a good man. I just want to see if there's a heart issue that gave out also. It's not the alcohol, but actually heart issue that took him in the end. Yeah, okay.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and he says, I aged early for myself because of the alcohol. He says, and also the friendship issue, not having people around me to support me. He says, I was ill of temper a lot, not good. I didn't have good way with people. People didn't understand me. He says, I didn't understand people either very well. There's a sense of him also having a son, so that means your brother. Do you have a brother, please?
I have a step brother from my mother being married before, but if he had another child, I have no idea. Neither one of us, if there is another one, were mentioned at his funeral. So I don't understand. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I do feel it doesn't have to be a blood brother. It could be your step brother, and it could have something to do with the answers that are coming in now. I don't know. Now, I'm going to let you ask the question, okay? What is it that you want to know? You said you wanted guidance.
Yeah, I need help with the relationship, really, with the situation between my partner and my youngest son. And
oh, that's the male, the youngest son. Oh, okay, it's not a brother, there's a son. Okay, because he gives me the sense of a male to you. It's under him in age, your father in age. That's what the issue is. Okay, so he was trying to foreshadow that. And you're having a love issue between your youngest son and your partner, your male partner. Is that correct, love?
Oh, very much so, yes.
Okay, let's just go to that then. Let's see if Dad has a message about it. He loves you so much, your father says. He says he's so happy that you've come to him for advice, by the way. Well, your father's a little intolerant of your partner. Okay, he's taking more the side of your son. He's saying, he says, you really need to set your own boundaries. He says, it's not right what this man is doing. And I'm going to find out why in a moment. I don't necessarily need to get it through Dad. The reason is, when we do mediumship, it's hard enough to get the messages from the soul and spirit, let alone get a very clear life message for you. So we're going to just go to that. Let me just see here. Dad, do you want to say anything more about it, honey? You're letting him get away with murder, he says. This man, he says he's not doing the right thing. He's very harsh. His temperament is ill when it comes to your younger son. Your son does need attention. He does need what you're giving to him, and he does need what you're doing for him. He does need the extra work and help that you're putting in for him. And it also seems to be monetarily, requiring extra help and support from you, your younger son. He says, but it's not going to go away. This man that's with you, your partner's, the situation's not going to change on its own. In other words, if you're hoping that I'm going to say to you, just stick it out and the guy will come around and do what you want, your father's saying, no. He says, you're going to have to take some steps. Okay, the primary step to take is to look out for your own interest in a loving way. Now, this is more coming from a guide than your father. We're slipping now to guide. Thank you, Dad. And so guide's coming in now. And the guide is saying for you that when you allow yourself to express your needs in a loving way, you will have more cooperation than you are getting right now. If the man, and he has free will, this partner of yours does not want to understand or feels a little bit like a Bronco energy, the guy you're with, like a wild one, nice man, but a little bit on the high strung side. Okay, if he doesn't want to understand and he has a choice, then he will have to go his own way, and the loss will be difficult for you. But he says, Spirit says, you won't lose your partner completely, but there just may be a difference in you won't be quite as close to each other. Maybe the living arrangement will change, or that you'll just see each other a little bit less often, or what have you. But you have to do what's right for your son. That's your first priority. And that is what you're doing. That's what you're choosing. And that is the right thing to do. Because don't forget, your son is your son, right? You're always going to have,
exactly,
right? You're always going to, it's blood. You're responsible for him, even if he's an adult. I don't feel he's an adult, but even if he is an adult, from now to the day your son dies, you'll always be responsible for this person. So you need to give him the care and attention that he requires. Now, it does feel like your son is having some kind of a problem or illness or something. What is going on with your son?
I would just chalk that up at basically. When he was with his dad, he pretty much had free range to do whatever he wanted to do. So he has the attitude of, I'm an adult and it doesn't fly with me. There's rules. There's rules.
Okay, all right. And so your male partner, I don't know what he is to you. You're not married to this new man, right? The man that's in your life, right? Okay. So he's intolerant of this behavior. I want you to know that there's an illness in your son. Okay, maybe it's the illness of being abandoned by the father, or but his behavior is overdone for the situation. Okay, it's something there. So now what are you wanting to do? Are you wanting to cut? You're putting boundaries in place with your son, and he's not adhering to them nor listening to you. So what do you want to do, Shannon? Because your father and your guides are telling you that you have to honor your son first. What do you want to do?
Well, I've always done that, so I choose my son.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. I choose my children, so it's not just one; it's both.
Okay. Well, I want you to know that
the one is living with me now. I would like for there to be.
Yeah, I understand. More harmony there.
Exactly.
Right. And so, I don't think you're going to have to choose between one or the other. Spirit says, they show me this. You will not have to choose one over the other. There will be eventually, but you will have to have what's the word for it? Maybe separation with the guy that's living with you.
90 seconds.
Because your son will grow out of this eventually. And you do need to have a time with your son maybe to teach him better boundaries, and then he will go off on his own. Now, what is he, around 17? How old is he? Your
15,
son.
almost 16.
Yeah, he's an adolescent. He's in a crazy. About 17, he might want to be leaving home. Either I don't know if he can live with his father or go off to join the service or something. But something's going to shift around 17.
Seconds.
Around 17 years old. So you do need to give your son the parenting needed, the tough love you're giving him, and that does need to be your first priority. And you also need to have, some empathy for your partner, your boyfriend here. So what seems to happen here is you're not going to have to choose one over the other. It'll all work out. But right now, probably a break or a timeout needs to happen between you and your partner. Give him a little bit of space, because right now your son needs more attention. And if it's just the discipline that you're going to be teaching him, that would be the attention. So honor that.